The next morning, Karen's doorbell rang at precisely 6:47 a.m., 17 minutes before the HOA's designated acceptable noise hours. She opened the door to find Bob Henderson standing on her porch, holding a manila envelope and wearing an expression that made her stomach drop. "We need to talk," he said simply. "Mr. Henderson, if this is about the violations, I've already filed the paperwork. The board meets Thursday. This isn't about your petty fines." Bob opened the envelope and pulled out a thick stack of documents. "It's about what I found when I decided to do a little digging into our beloved HOA president." Karen's coffee mug slipped from her fingers, shattering against the marble foyer. "I don't know what you think you've discovered, but did you know that embezzling HOA funds is a felony?" Bob's voice was deadly calm. "Because I didn't. Not until I spent all night going through public records, bank statements, and those convenient administrative fees you've been charging." The color drained from Karen's face. "You have no right to. $47,000, Karen. That's what you've skimmed from this community over the past 2 years. Pool maintenance that never happened, landscaping contracts with your brother's company at triple the market rate, emergency repairs that exist only on paper." Karen's mind raced. She'd been so careful, so methodical. The payments had been small, spread out, justified with official-sounding explanations. Who would question the HOA president's dedication to maintaining their perfect little enclave? "You can't prove anything," she whispered, but her voice cracked. Bob smiled, a cold, calculated expression that looked foreign on his usually gentle face. "I was a project manager for 15 years before my injury, Karen. I know how to follow a paper trail. I also know that the county prosecutor is very interested in white-collar crime these days." "What do you want?" The words escaped before Karen could stop them. "First, all fines against my family are permanently waived. Second, you resign from the HOA board immediately. Third, you begin repaying the stolen funds, with interest." Karen's perfectly controlled world tilted on its axis. "And if I refuse? Then I call the police right now, and by this afternoon, everyone in Willowbrook Estates will know exactly what kind of person they elected to maintain their community standards." For the first time in years, Karen Whitmore felt truly powerless. The regulations she'd wielded like weapons, the authority she'd cherished, the respect she'd demanded, all of it crumbling because she pushed one family too far. "You have until noon to decide," Bob said, turning to leave. "Oh, and Karen? Sarah wants you to know she's sorry you felt so empty that you had to steal from your own neighbors. She's praying for you." As Bob walked away, Karen slumped against her doorframe, staring at the shattered coffee mug. In the distance, she could see Sarah hanging laundry again, on a Wednesday, in direct violation of HOA regulations. But for the first time, Karen found herself wondering who had decided that Tuesday wasn't good enough for clean sheets. Her phone buzzed with a text from board member Margaret Chen. "Emergency meeting tonight. Someone sent anonymous documents to all board members. We need to talk." Karen closed her eyes, realizing that Bob Henderson had given her exactly what she'd always given others, a choice between compliance and consequences. The only difference was that his ultimatum came with something hers never had: mercy. The question was, did she deserve it? Karen Whitmore stood in her pristine kitchen, clutching a ruler and a freshly printed HOA violation notice, when she witnessed the 3 things that would change everything. Her neighbor's wife hanging laundry on a Tuesday, clearly violating subsection 4.72, a garden gnome positioned exactly 6 inches too close to the property line, and, most shocking of all, someone had the audacity to paint their mailbox navy blue instead of the approved colonial pewter. "This ends today," Karen muttered, her perfectly manicured nails drumming against the granite countertop. She'd been HOA president for 3 years, and Willowbrook Estates had never looked more immaculate. Every blade of grass measured precisely 2 inches, every driveway power washed weekly, every resident living in beautiful, regulated harmony. Except for 47 Maple Lane. The Hendersons had been a thorn in her side since day one. Bob Henderson, that hulking construction worker with his perpetually dirty boots, and his sweet-faced wife Sarah, who baked cookies for everyone and somehow made Karen feel like the villain in her own neighborhood drama. Karen marched across the street, her heels clicking against the asphalt like a countdown timer. Sarah was indeed hanging sheets on the clothesline, humming softly to herself, completely oblivious to the storm approaching. "Mrs. Henderson," Karen announced, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "I need to speak with you about several violations." Sarah turned, her smile faltering slightly. "Oh, hello, Karen. What can I help you with?" "For starters, outdoor drying is only permitted on Saturdays between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. It's Tuesday, 2:17 p.m. Karen consulted her clipboard with theatrical precision. "That's a $75 fine." "Karen, I had no idea. Furthermore, your mailbox color is not within acceptable parameters, and that garden gnome is encroaching on common property." Karen's pen moved rapidly across the violation form. "Total fines, $300. Sarah's face went pale. $300? "Karen, Bob's been out of work for 2 weeks. His back injury. HOA regulations don't account for personal circumstances, Mrs. Henderson. You have 72 hours to comply or face additional penalties." That's when Bob Henderson emerged from the garage, grease-stained and furious. At 6'3", he towered over Karen's petite frame, but she stood her ground with the unwavering confidence of someone who'd memorized every line of the homeowner's covenant. "What's going on here?" Bob's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "Your husband is being informed of multiple violations." Karen replied coolly. "Perhaps if you maintained your property to community standards." "Lady, my wife just told you I've been injured. We're struggling to keep food on the table, and you're worried about what color our mailbox is." Karen felt something twist in her chest, an unfamiliar sensation she quickly suppressed. "Rules exist for everyone's benefit, Mr. Henderson. Property values depend on property values." Bob's laugh was bitter. "My wife works 2 jobs to keep us afloat while I recover. And you want to fine us for hanging laundry?" Sarah placed a gentle hand on her husband's arm. "Bob, please. We'll figure it out." Karen watched the exchange, noting how Sarah's shoulders sagged with exhaustion, how Bob's hands trembled slightly from what was clearly more than just anger. But the HOA board expected results, and Karen Whitmore had never failed to deliver. 72 hours, she repeated, turning on her heel. As she walked away, Karen didn't see Bob's face darken with determination, or notice Sarah quietly disappearing into the house. She was too busy calculating the next round of inspections, completely unaware that her perfectly ordered world was about to explode into chaos.